Okay, so welcome to our Sacred Geometry Drawing Adventure class number 7. Today is so exciting because we are going to push on the constructs of time and space and dimension. We're going to be learning about the tesseract and the fourth dimensional geometry. It's really fun. This is one of my favorite classes. But before we get into things, bless you, let's do our drop-in. Let's just arrive and bringing your attention inward, closing your eyes or having a gentle gaze, connecting with your breath and beginning to bring your awareness to your body and your breath. Taking deep breaths in through your nose and releasing out through your mouth, sighing and letting go of the day. Bringing yourself more into your body and into a deeper sense of relaxation and activation at the same time with each breath, opening, connecting, feeling, sensing, embodying. And noticing how you are arriving, taking a little mental, emotional, and physical inventory, and using the opportunity to choose how you would like to spend the next 2 hours, what kind of space you'd like to be in. Connecting with your body with every breath. And maybe feeling a sense of appreciation for however it is that you are showing up. Gratitude for the ability to connect with your breath, with your body, with each other on the call. Deepening that sense of appreciation, breathing into your heart and connecting with the part of you that wants expansion. Expanding that love from your heart to all of the parts of you, the bigger parts, the sensitive parts, all the parts of us that don't get very much time during the day. Breathing kindness and appreciation into the all that we are. Using the breath to connect with the all that we are. Grounding into the surface, supporting you, breathing into the support that is here for us, for each other, for this expansion. Taking another couple deep breaths to come back into our shared visual field as you're ready. I need to do that so much more during the day. Just, one time I tried setting my phone, my alarm for like every couple of hours and just pause and breathe. And by the second day, it's like I just turn it off. It's tragic because it's such a great practice. And it's reflective of how long I can stay with a practice. It's just in and out, and the geometry, however, endures. So here we are. It is wonderful to be here with you all. I am so deeply grateful for our Monday night connections, excursions, and adventures. And I would love to hear, did I do that? How everybody is doing, how your week was, if you got to draw, if it's just taking everything you've got to show up today. Congratulations with whatever your check-in is. And anybody who would like to start us off, please do so. Nancy, are you jumping in there?
Okay, I was putting us on gallery so I could see everybody.
Oh yeah,
But-
everybody should be on gallery all the time so we can see each other. Yeah. Okay, so but you weren't necessarily, are you up for it since you're off mute?
Sure,
Okay.
I'll go ahead.
Okay. Hi.
I just loved this. It's so much fun. I did draw, and I went back. I got to see if I can find it. I went back and did a flower of life.
Oh boy. Oh boy, here it is. Oh yes, glorious.
I mean, I took so much time. I kept changing things and trying to make it perfect. That's about as perfect as I'm going to get, I think.
So cool.
But I really had fun with it. I didn't let it frustrate me. It's like I did it for a bit, and then when it started getting weird, I walked away. I just walked away, and then I came back and I looked at it again and I tried it again, and it seemed to work. So then I thought, well,
yeah,
I'll try something else. So I did the pentagon.
Oh my gosh,
pentagram.
look at that fractalizing. Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and I decided I'd try to fractalize. So I mean, it's not perfect, but it's okay. And I did the obtuse heptagon one more time, and I like to put I like to put the color on it because the color just adds so much. And then so when you do it by yourself after the class, you can take your time and you can get it right.
Yeah.
So that's I mean, I guess that's a lot, but I just do it I have it on my dining room table. So I'm in the kitchen and I just have a minute and I just come over and work on it. Then I leave and then I come back. So it makes it easier. And like I said, I just really I'm having fun with this. So so thank you.
Oh, I love it. I love the reflection also, your process of like, I just got too intense and then I walked away, and the process of being at peace with what you're doing, and also that place where it's easier at your own pace, right? But the class sort of sets you up so you know what you're going for. But
oh yes, and also Terry, thank you. I got this.
Oh boy, Quadrivium. Yeah. It's a great book.
Yeah, it has how to do some of these things in it. So 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 I've had a fun week.
Yeah, it's been full. I love it when it's just out on the dining room table. It's like, it's so inviting. It's like, oh, just come on, it'll be a couple lines. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, very inviting. Where like, you don't have to go to the office or the studio or something to do it. It's very accessible. So I love that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for starting us off by pressure.
I'm not leaving. I'm just going to find my water, but you won't see me for a minute.
Okay. All right. Who's up next?
I'll go. What the heck?
There she is.
So I have a visitor that's been with me for a week, staying for another week at least, which is very nice. Trying sometimes, but very enjoyable as well. And I haven't gotten very much done for me, which is what happens when you have company. But it's been amazing. So the only thing I wanted to really do before class, and I didn't finish because distractions, was combine the obtuse and I forgot what the other one was called from last week. And so I just combined them. And
yes.
And I'm able to see like the 3D, see it like it's turning, it's like just looking at it without closing my eyes. I can see the depth of everything, and it might be interesting to do do it in 2 different colors. But
Yeah.
I didn't think of that until Nancy just mentioned it. So,
Mhm.
but that was fun.
That's awesome. I've never seen anybody do that. That's just spectacular.
Oh.
Yeah. And oh, I just had it. The 2 different colors. Oh, it's gone. It'll come back. I think I think it was that you could fractalize and put another acute in the center there, right? Because you created the 7 points and you could just keep going inward and inward, right?
Oh, cool. Okay.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. You drew this one and then you had the idea to do it in color, right? Maybe it was Nancy or something, but that's the sinister part, is when you do one, you get the next idea and then you're like, oh, I can't stop. So beautiful. Thank you. And so glad you're making it even with a visitor. I actually remember the story of that visitor, so that's exciting.
Yeah. You might meet him tomorrow if you're there.
I can't make it tomorrow. I'm bummed. Yeah, but it's fun. You get to go.
Yeah.
Super. All right. Okay. Sawa or Terry. Sawa, looks like you're on screen. How you doing? All right.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi. Interesting Carol synchronicity,
Oh boy.
because I think I did this exactly same thing.
No!
Is this what
Yeah.
she did?
That's sweet. Yes.
Oh my goodness. So I thought wow, that's awesome.
Very well. That's so fun.
Yes, and I did maybe like 2 times,
Mhm.
but I cannot get the pentacle.
Uh-huh.
I cannot get it right. I don't
it's a
think
little
this
wide.
is right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I review the
Yeah.
Zoom like over and over again and did it like when we're in the class together.
Yeah.
I don't know what I am doing wrong.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know
no
either.
idea.
Yeah, that is fabulous. There is a meditation and something very powerful in there for you somehow.
Yes.
Because it's a standard thing where it's universal and we can't get it. So there's a glitch somewhere in the process that would be so rich. And I'm so glad. That's just, tricky to say.
Interesting.
Glad you're having a sticking point with it, but it
I
could
know.
yield some fun. How are you feeling about that though, that it's not working out yet?
Just like you said, very interesting, because I did it over and over again and same results. Very interesting. So I don't know. I'm not figuring out yet, but just that there's something like message or something that I'm supposed to figure it out.
Yeah.
So I will work on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm okay. I'm enjoying this. Wow, this is
Yeah, that's the process. I mean, it's probably happening because you can take it as deep as you can. You go so deep with things, probably like, aha, here's the next challenge.
Right. I'm doing exactly what everybody's doing. Like, the line is moving on me.
That's fascinating.
So that was the interesting thing this week.
Yeah. Now, would you like to continue to try with that pattern, or I can send you a secondary way to do the pentagon and you can try that way too?
Oh yes, if you don't mind, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It just has a couple more steps, and for me, I switched over to this one because the original way, the background, the guidelines take up so much space, you only get a very small pentagon. So, but I'll send it to you and then maybe you can play around with it.
I'd like it too. Yes.
Okay. Not as fun. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'll send that to everybody. You got it. Got a note.
Thank you.
All right. Yay. Sawa, what else did you usually? Yes. And what else for today?
I did did the just like I did also separate one more time because I gave up on this. So I said, okay, I'm gonna move on. And so I just did what we practiced. Okay, heptagon. Heptagon.
Yes.
Just individually.
So pretty.
I like this, but I kind of liked this one.
Yeah. Very different feelings.
Interesting, yes. Because when we did it in the class, I liked the other one better. But when I did this second time or third time, I kind of like this. Like, then, okay, real quick.
Yeah, no, quick. Just go for it. You don't have to be quick.
So I start like right now. I'm a very beginner, but I don't know why, but I start I have an interest in like a quilt. But I'm looking at like a geometric shape quilt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I see all these everything that we've been doing like everywhere so it's so beautiful, with the colors and different colors, and it's just I love looking at it. I think it's so beautiful.
So beautiful. Yeah. Oh,
yes.
Thank you. The quilters are just pioneers. Like they're just weaving in the geometry in front of them all the time, being with it. And the octagon today, I haven't, I keep meaning to add quilting examples. Let me just put that. But the octagon 8-sided 8-fold geometry is just standard in quilting. So I'm excited for this for you. Great. Okay, I'll send that other pentagon. I'm going to get some quilting stuff in here. But thank you so much. And part of like when the obtuse and the acute, the heptagons and the heptagrams are so brand new, there's the initial, but it can also be like, what mood are you in? Like different geometries, when you want to draw, there's that intuitive way of feeling what it is that you want to do, circles, lines, all of that. So that makes sense that they switch back and forth. Yeah. No, go.
I just wanted to,
beautiful
your
this I know.
Oh my god, it's just like talking to me,
I know.
Wow,
I know. I can't
so pretty.
Yeah, I love it. I can't get a tattoo. My body, my skin does no. But in the summertime when there's skin exposure, these are temporary tattoos and they stay on for like a week. And I just flash them all around and I love them. So
it's sparkling.
It's so sparkly and catches the light. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you.
Thanks.
It's like your heart, it's emanating from your heart. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. I love it so much. Oh, all right. Terry, you want to finish this off and then we'll jump into the Tesseract. How are you doing?
I don't know. I'm okay. I'm kind of here. I'm tired. And I've had a lot of interesting, weird dreams. For some reason, last night, the dream was about climbing a ladder, like the kind that you would go on, like on a roof, a metal one like that. And then I was flying. It was one of those flying dreams. I was really flying a lot.
That's fun.
But it seems like to me that I had the ladder with me. And then at the end of the dream, I came back into the room and there was a young person that was trying to put up their ladder, same kind of ladder, climbing up it so that they could fly too. And I came back to help that person be able to get on their ladder, get to the top and fly, which they did. And it was just the dreams this week have been strange, but they seem really real. And I don't know what they mean, but I don't know. I didn't get to draw, just been working on, stuff I had to do in the classes and things. So anyway, so what does the geometry have to do with dreams?
I mean, that's a whole other class, but you know, again, right, like the very disturbing statistic of 5% of our conscious, you know, our waking reality being governed by our subconscious, our conscious mind, 95% being governed by our subconscious. So, you know, the geometry is helping us bridge. And, you know, that would be kind of a general answer, is when we're working with this stuff, we're having a little bit more communication. So dream work, you know, waking up, writing it down, it really makes a huge difference. I've been doing that lately too, because my dreams are so outrageous as well. Did you not have an interpretation of that dream for yourself? Did you have one, or are you just hanging out thinking it's?
No, it means that, okay, it means three things. Number one, I need to make sure I stay grounded, and that has to do with the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, it means that I'm successfully spending time in the ethers,
Mm-hmm.
and comfortable there, because I've had lots of flying dreams, and a lot of times I was practicing the flying. I was learning how to maneuver. This time I was just flying. And the third thing is I came back to help this other person learn how to fly. And that's what we do in the classes, even though they're business classes.
Yeah.
That's what they were about, he gives us that common language. And so, but yet in our city, we're having a hard time getting the classes full, and we're getting ready to move into some other cities that are bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's that whole piece of what's going on in my life. And so
Yeah, it definitely seems related to the work you're doing to get your classes off the ground. So I just thought I'd say, is that in there for you? That seems like it.
that's cool. But you know, I've been carrying my tablet with me because I'm in the car a lot, and my poor little tablet is like all bent.
Oh, well.
And in the whole process of the whole thing, it actually broke the ruler.
Oh, geez.
And
Yeah.
so until tonight, it's like, oh no, I pulled this out. So it's like, oh man.
Well, you should be able to make it. I love that your tablet is coming with you everywhere. You're just sending your own signal to the universe.
Oh, and I have been taking the tablet and laying it beside me when I sleep.
Cool.
I have been laying my hand on it as I sleep at night.
Yeah.
My hand right over the top of the whole stack, because I have it all in the tablet. So I just felt like the geometry needed to be closer than off in another room or somewhere. So
yep, yeah. I've had that too. Let me grab something I did, because I actually did something this week. It's right here. It's not anything outrageous, but there was a crop circle on the 7th, right? July 7th, on a year that is a 7. So it was a nice big deal. And here it is. I'll show you. It was just so geometrically beautiful, and I've loved it. I've just been enthralled with it. And then there's just been a couple of us that are like, I'm going to draw this, because if you've got the flower and you've got the seed, you can back engineer this really easily. It's just 3 different strokes, and very, very enjoyable. So we're gonna be drawing this, and then I had to do my own version. And you know, it's serious when I bring out the sparkle glue, because like I just like to try.
I was wondering what that was. Glue.
Yeah. The light, you know, they're so alive to me. So so that was my fun week, and it's really easy. It takes like, you know, 15 minutes to do that one. So
may I ask a question? If you put the crop circle back up again, because I've been wondering this since you're so good at this Zoom stuff.
There, that? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So the light yellow that we're seeing, is that standing up? Is that taller than the surrounding field?
No, the pattern is made by laying down the crop.
So it's actually, because it has such a look of that the pattern is raised and the rest of the field is recessed. But interesting.
Right.
And it's actually woven.
This one's just laid flats, right? It's just a lay, and it's just flat down. But what's happening is the sun is up here, and so different parts of the pattern are shadowed but they're all flat in the same way, and the rest of the crop is standing.
Okay.
So do you see what I mean, where the sun is creating the dimensionality?
So another question is, how do
I'll show
we
you
know,
another one.
how do we know this one's not man-made? What about this one tells us that this came from somebody else?
Right. You know, and then we start getting into that whole conversation.
Oh, look at how big it is.
But that is a large conversation. But for me, what happens for me is I have an energetic or emotional resonance with it. And that's how I know. And you know, and we'll talk more about it, but when you get into the who's making of the crop circles, you know, if we're talking about an advanced technology from advanced civilizations, even if it is man-made, there is the ability to alter the energetics of a formation so that it is benevolent and it is emanating positive frequencies. And especially if the geometry is precise like that, it's usually precise geometry is another indication. But my emotional response, I only have had that with this one and another one this year. I haven't had that. That doesn't mean anything really. So.
Well, I forget that we're not in the crop circle night.
No, we're in the sacred geometry crop circle because they're all related.
It's so good. And I've just been asking this shape, you know, what is it? What message are you giving? Because it's just open in the middle. It's like, what is that about?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know what it means. And I'm curious if the rest of you guys get some kind of a feel about what it means the way it is. So,
yeah. Well, there's always the act of printing it up and putting it under your bed, under your pillow. But yeah, Nancy, are you coming off mute? Is that accidental? Okay. No. Okay. Oh, can you hear us? Is that what you're doing? Playing with the audio. Okay, well, I'll keep talking and then you can let us know if you need something. Okay, so there's crop circles, there's geometry, there's all sorts of stuff going on. It's exciting times. Dreams, you know, the more we tap into, the more there is, right? So making sure that and I'm giving myself the own advice of like giving time for meditation. And it doesn't have to be grandiose, right? If you just, like, what I find is, like if you're in a class, and I've always wanted to do this, where we all sort of take our phones out together and you schedule a time for yourself that you'll draw. And I mean, most of you, it's not, I mean, it's happening organically, but my point is, like, it is just so nourishing and, you know, I would say important to be sitting, and I'm probably saying this because I'm not sitting enough, but the depths it's extraordinary right now, and everything is going so fast that it's really great to slow things down. So I know I'm preaching to the choir. So today is the Tesseract. Today is a fourth dimensional geometry. What we're going to be drawing does not exist in this dimension. And so this is designed to break our brains a little bit. This is a hypercube. This is the Tesseract. And if you remember A Wrinkle in Time long ago and revisited about 10 years ago, the first line of the book is, "The Tesseract is real." So we're talking legitimate time travel here, and that this shape, as it folds in and out of time, it bends time, and it goes, you know, it's kind of complex and also simple. And we're not going to tackle the whole thing today, but we're going to explore the idea that if we're looking at a fourth dimensional shape that does, like, we can see shadows of it, then the implications are, oh, there's a fourth dimension. Oh, well, there's a fifth and a sixth and beyond, right? So this is designed to shift perception a little bit and just open the neural pathways just a little bit more, right? And then however far you want to go with it, the Tesseract will take you. So, and that's probably really literally true if you wanted to travel forward or backward, but it's all simultaneous. So we're gonna bust open time a little bit because it's just such a bogus construct. Okay, and I know I'm preaching to the choir here, so I know this isn't new, but it's also new in a way. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into a PowerPoint, and then as you're looking and studying the geometry, I'm going to read some channeled information. This is a long story, but it's a very high level interpretation of what this geometry is capable of. So we'll look at some images. I'll read some things. Here we go. We're gonna bust open the constructs. That's what we're going for. Slideshow, and here we go. All right. So the tesseract, right there, we're gonna see that the shape that we're gonna draw is like the shadow imprint, right? So start playing, start using your perception to go back and forth between the different rectangles, different cubes, right? They kind of look like rectangles to our eyes, but they're cubes, and there's 4 of them. And just let your eyes go back and forth and all over the place and find the structures, right? So, and then we're going to watch a little video once I read this. In geometry and physics, the tesseract is the 4-dimensional analog of the cube. So the tesseract is to the cube as the cube is to the square, right? So you're going 4D to 3D, 3D to 2D. Just as the surfaces of the cube consist of 6 square faces, the hypersurface of the tesseract consists of 8 cubical cells, right? Which is the part we can't see. Now, I'm going to add one other thing, and then we'll get into a little video to describe it. The idea of how we break our brains a little bit is that we get really scrambled and can't quite understand it, right? Because that's when there's a little bit of wiggle room for some space, right? So the likelihood is we won't quite track this, and just try and allow for a sense of confusion or a sense of scramble, because that's the rewiring. All right. So this is a little video. It's just a really simplified overview that helps us kind of orient to what we've got in front of us. Oopsies, didn't mean to do that. Here it is. All right, let's play this. I think there should be audio. Can we hear it so far? No music?
We live in a 3-dimensional
How about
world
that?
where
Okay.
everything has length, width,
Wait,
and height.
Let me just
But
pause.
what if
and
our
go back.
world were 2-dimensional?
Okay. Okay.
We live in a 3-dimensional world
No?
where
Can you
everything
hear it?
has
Okay.
length, width, and height. But what if our world were 2-dimensional? We would be squashed down to occupy a single plane of existence, geometrically speaking, of course. And what would that world look and feel like? This is the premise of Edwin Abbott's 1884 novella, Flatland. Flatland is a fun mathematical thought experiment that follows the trials and tribulations of a square exposed to the 3rd dimension. But what is a dimension anyway? For our purposes, a dimension is a direction, which we can picture as a line. For our direction to be a dimension, it has to be at right angles to all other dimensions. So a 1-dimensional space is just a line. A 2-dimensional space is defined by 2 perpendicular lines, which describe a flat plane, like that piece of paper. And a 3-dimensional space adds a 3rd perpendicular line, which gives us height and the world we're familiar with. So what about 4 dimensions, and 5, and 11? Where do we put these new perpendicular lines? This is where Flatland can help us. Let's look at our square protagonist's world. Flatland is populated by geometric shapes ranging from isosceles triangles to equilateral triangles to squares, pentagons, hexagons, all the way up to circles. These shapes are all scurrying around a flat world, living their flat lives. They have a single eye on the front of their faces, and let's see what the world looks like from their perspective. What they see is essentially 1 dimension, a line. But in Abbott's Flatland, closer objects are brighter, and that's how they see depth. So a triangle looks different from a square, looks different from a circle, and so on. Their brains cannot comprehend the 3rd dimension. In fact, they vehemently deny its existence because it's simply not part of their world or experience. But all they need, as it turns out, is a little boost. One day, a sphere shows up in Flatland to visit our square hero. Here's what it looks like when the sphere passes through Flatland from the square's perspective. And this blows his little square mind. Then, the sphere lifts the square into the 3rd dimension, the height direction where no Flatlander has gone before, and shows him his world. From up here, the square can see everything, the shapes of buildings, all the precious gems hidden in the earth, and even the insides of his friends, which is probably pretty awkward. Once the hapless square comes to terms with the third dimension, he begs his host to help him visit the fourth and higher dimensions. But the sphere bristles at the mere suggestion of dimensions higher than 3 and exiles the square back to flatland. Now, the sphere's indignation is understandable. The fourth dimension is very difficult to reconcile with our experience of the world. Short of being lifted into the fourth dimension by a visiting hypercube, we can't experience it. But we can get close. You'll recall that when the sphere first visited the second dimension, he looked like a series of circles that started as a point when he touched flatland, grew bigger until he was halfway through, and then shrank smaller again. We can think of this visit as a series of 2D cross-sections of a 3D object. Well, we can do the same thing in the third dimension with a 4-dimensional object. Let's say that a hypersphere is the 4D equivalent of a 3D sphere. When the 4D object passes through the third dimension, it'll look something like this. Let's look at one more way of representing a 4-dimensional object. Let's say we have a point, a 0-dimensional shape. Now we extend it out 1 inch, and we have a 1-dimensional line segment. Extend the whole line segment by 1 inch, and we get a 2D square. Take the whole square and extend it out 1 inch, and we get a 3D cube. You can see where we're going with this. Take the whole cube and extend it out 1 inch, this time perpendicular to all 3 existing directions, and we get a 4D hypercube, also called a tesseract. For all we know, there could be 4-dimensional life forms somewhere out there, occasionally poking their heads into our bustling 3D world, wondering what all the fuss is about. In fact, there could be whole other 4-dimensional worlds beyond our detection, hidden from us forever by the nature of our perception. Doesn't that blow your little spherical mind?
I love that line. Hidden from us forever, from the whatever of our perspective, the limitations of our perspective. It's like, oh, I don't want to be limited anymore. Like, let's just, can we just open this up? Like, without LSD, like something like that. So, okay, so we got the, got the general gist. We're going to look at a couple of images and I'll read some of the, this is like, we're dropping into the advanced stuff of the Tesseract. So, all right. Love that little video. Okay, so the Tesseract is the 4th dimension, while the cube represents the physical or 3rd dimension. In the 4th dimension, there are multiple realities which are going on simultaneously. The Tesseract or hypercube transcends time and place and can hold multiple definable locations and appearances, right? This is where our brains start to go, I don't know what you're talking about. This is, I can't read while we have this one. This is like, this is just a cool thing I threw in there, but it's too distracting to listen. So we just glimpse at it and then we go ahead. So the truth is that the hypercube 8-fold geometry is a vibrational waveform signature. We can say that it is the spirit or astral dimension which coexists simultaneously with the physical level of reality. Right? So if this is scrambling you, it's going right? The next paragraph. Yes, this is supposed to twist your mind in knots. Don't worry or think too much. Just in the invitation is to accept that the hypercubes are the angels of the mathematical world, right? They are touching on different dimensions, unlike the mathematics of the 3D and the 2D, right? So this gives us the ability to touch, angelic spirit source consciousness, right? When we're drawing left brain, we're activating the right brain in kind of new and different ways. So it is no coincidence that the 8-fold geometry holds the information of multiple important elements relating to sacred geometry: harmonics, physics, chemistry, and spirituality. Right? This geometry is woven into everything. If an individual chooses to look within her or himself, they can use this knowledge for alchemical processes relating to spiritual development and unlocking vast resources of energy potential. And so that's true with most of the geometries that we've been studying, you know, all of them. This has a unique ability because of the dimension and time piece, right? This literally is a technology to bend time, whereas a lot of the other ones are accessing various elements and more 3D structures, right? All right. It represents cosmic intelligence and cosmic knowledge of all that is. This is the cosmic intelligence that is able to shape, sculpt, and transform all elements. This is, in essence, a way of accessing the Akashic records, right? Bending in and out with this geometry. Metatrons is as well, they're just different flavors of the same keys, right? And then, let me see. There's one. Yep. Want to go into the next one. These are all the different iterations of the Tesseract when it's moving, and it's hard to you'll see it when it's moving around. So this doesn't quite capture it. These are all the 2D images of when it's bending and moving, right? But I think this is the next one that is bending and moving, right? So this is an attempt in an animation to say what's happening with the inner and the outer squares, right? But genuinely, I don't know that we are aware of the technology. Like, the technology is here. Mainstream cultural, we're not aware of it. We don't have exposure to understanding the manipulation of time, space-time like this. Okay, so I want to just double check that I'm not, yeah, I think we're good. What we're gonna do now is there's a couple of slides about playing with perception, right? And my computer is getting really hot, so I wanna give it something to calm down under. That's okay. So we're gonna play with our eyes going back and seeing different structures. Okay, so we're gonna look at cube, and we're going to spend, this will be like another little 2-minute meditation, and we're going to watch our field of perception shift back and forth, because at one point the cube your eyes will see the bottom left corner going down, and then it'll switch back and forth to the top right face, you know, coming up and to the right. So I am going to put on the tiniest bit of music. It's just going to do 2 minutes, and we're going to just track our eyes, watch our perception again, like, you know, bringing the witness in, noticing what your eyes are doing, noticing what your brain is doing, and just like 2 minutes of this should be quite informative. So going back and forth between the light, gray, purple, blue, whatever you see, and then the dark. And we're just going to do this for literally 2 minutes and just see what happens. Take some nice deep breaths while we can. Deep breath. Deep breaths. Chair. Right, maybe closing your eyes for the transition. We'll come back together. It's fascinating every time I do that. How was that? What was your experience just witnessing and watching your person? How was it? It's fun to watch all of you.
At first, you have to manually change it back and forth, at least I did, and then it just, I don't know, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, it starts doing it by itself. It's like it becomes alive and begins to move on its own when you're just watching it without your even making it do it. That's weird.
You're wild, right? Right. How about others? How was it? So, Carol, you guys had big smiles when it was like when you started seeing your brain do it. It was like, oh yeah, Nancy, how was it?
Yeah, it did. That's what it did for me too. And it was like all of a sudden, I didn't realize it kept changing. And I thought something in the back of my head said that you were just changing it, that you were changing from one slide to another. No, it was really just, it was switching back and forth and all around. And then it started going faster. It's really fascinating.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, faster is cool. The pacing of it, right? Interesting.
Yeah, the pacing was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, like cool. So Carol, yeah, how was it? I'm just going with you because you were off mute.
Oh, it was trippy.
Uh-huh.
It was really cool. Just at first, I didn't see anything on the very first slide where there were the two what looked to be boxes.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, it switched, and I'm like, "Whoa!" And then it was really apparent that what it was. And then so with the next slide, it was like, "What am I missing?" And then all of a sudden, it was there, and then it kept just shifting back and forth and back and forth. And initially it was conscious, but then afterwards it wasn't. It would just happen. So it was very, very interesting.
Right? So curious.
Hmm.
Love it. How Sawa, yeah, how was it for you? I think you had the biggest expression.
Wow, that was so awesome. It makes you smile. And so when you said breathe, take a deep breath,
Mm.
it really start going back and forth. Then I say, you know what? I wonder if there's a pattern, and I start counting how many seconds like going back and forth.
Cool.
It was initially like 5 seconds, then
Mhm.
go change, and then 5 seconds, go change. But then when I take deep breath, it immediately changes.
Oh
It
wow.
was, I don't know, it was just, wow, that was very interesting. I love it. So nice.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna look at a couple more. That wasn't our one shot kill.
Okay.
It's fascinating, right? Because there's the part of our brain that's doing that, and there's the part that's witnessing. And so it's this like, oh wait, what's happening? You know, and it calls into question so much of like, that is one slide. We're looking at one slide for 2 minutes. How much is our brain going all the time, and all of the perceptions, you know, shifting back and forth? So again, it's like the larger implications of, you know, just really broadening out, like, oh my gosh, so much is happening, and how powerful the witness is to bring consciousness to that process, right? And we've got a couple more. That wasn't our only deal here. This is now
Hey,
when
what
you start.
I wanted to ask, just real quick before we move on,
Yeah.
did anybody feel like they were what was moving? It was like when you're looking like it's pointing down, it's like you're looking inside. And then all of a sudden, when you shift, you're standing on the outside of it, looking up. And it was like after a while, it's almost like instead of the thing moving, I was moving.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't have that for sure. That's great. That's resonating for you. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. My trick every time I do that is that I try to hold it. I try to hold one, and I can't ever do it. So years and years, I'll keep doing it. But that's fascinating, right? Like, how much control do we have? It's running amok in there. But I haven't heard, Terry, you know, like anyone in and out. I have, there's a sensory shift between the two, but I don't have a sense of being in or out. That's awesome to hear. I love it. Everybody's always so different. So great. And then you can do the same with this, right? So focusing, you know, on the red cube on the bottom right, you're either going to see a red cube with a divot in going into the corner, or you're going to see a 3-walled red box with a blue cube in it, right? Same with all of them. You'll go back and forth depending on your focus on which one you see, right? Whether it's the cube that's inside a 3-walled structure, or a cube that's missing a corner cube, right? So yeah, you can go back and forth and see them. And it's just, there's so many examples. And part of the brain fry is that this makes the hemispheres work different, right? This is trying to align us in ways that we're not used to it. And that is really a good practice for neuroplasticity, right? To activate that, you know, that sense of like, wait, this is not what I'm used to seeing. My brain does not make sense of this, right? With Escher's work, and just opening, right? Like that little sphere, right? We are limited by our perspectives. And so just playing around for a little bit with, you know, these are alternate realities, right? This is a way of connecting with a parallel realities, right? Different universes, different dimensions that are right here next to us. And the minute we start to speak to the possibility, right, part of our brain goes, and this is really fun because of the geometry the two of you did with the heptagon and heptagram, right? There's a little bit of everything in there, and you know, in infinity geometries where they're folding and bending on each other, and what a great practice it is to break your brain a little bit, right? Because then we open it up, it's not going to go back to the way that it was. Like there's a shift, you know, we're sort of letting some marbles out and they're reorganizing, then we bring them back in, and it's a new, you know, it's a new perceptual experience. So what are we doing now? Okay, so obviously there's a quick and dirty way to draw the tesseract, right? You can just draw 2 cubes and then lines, and there's a really, you know, mathematically precise way to do it. We're going to do the fun way where there's really pretty arts as everywhere, you know, every which way we go. We're not watching Carl. Okay, now I just want to like, just put your seatbelts on, because this one, no matter how much I watch this, my brain hurts. Like it can't get it. I've tried, this is years. And so give yourself a break if it's just like, you know, that's quite a preamble, isn't it? But this is like a 2-minute video, and they're trying to give us the analogy of a 4th dimensional reality. Okay, here we go.
You're watching this on a flat 2-dimensional computer monitor. Yet we accept this picture as a representation of 3 dimensions displayed on a 2-dimensional monitor. In 3 dimensions, it is not possible to have 4 axes, each of which is 90 degrees to the other 3. Yet as with 3 dimensions on a 2-dimensional monitor, we can accept that this is a representation of 4 dimensions. Skeptical?
Yes.
You're watching this on a flat 2-dimensional computer monitor. Yet we accept this picture as a representation of 3 dimensions displayed on a 2-dimensional monitor. In 3 dimensions, it is not possible to have 4 axes, each of which is 90 degrees to the other 3.
Hmm. Oh, ow. Right there. Ah.
If you remove any one of the 4 axes, you will go back to 3 axes, each of which is 90 degrees to the other 2. If you remove any one of the 4 axes, you will go back to 3 axes, each of which is 90 degrees to the other 2. If you remove any one of the 4 axes, you will go back to 3 axes, each of which is 90 degrees to the other 2. Therefore, each of the 4 axes is 90 degrees to each of the other 3.
All right, we don't need the spheres. Okay. That I went in somewhere where I actually had like my stomach turn a little bit. Like somehow I got into it and it was like disorienting. I have not had that before. Really try with that one because we're so programmed to see a 2D square, to see a 2-dimensional model represent a 3D, right? Like, and the logic is if our brain can do that, it can do this. It's trippy, right? All of it. So yeah, Terry.
Yeah, there's something here, okay, in the pyramids, and when, especially the pyramids and the drawings and other like old drawings, the 90 degree is important because that's how they ascend on death. And in our School of Remembering the Living in the Heart with Viola Rose, she mentioned that Drunvalo on the School of Remembering put a new video not long ago called the 90 Degrees. And you actually have to sign on to, you know, it doesn't take very much money, sign into there so you can watch it, but it's evidently a kind of a new not a new revelation, but a new piece that he is sharing with us. And so there's something then to do, because every time they changed it, it had to do with removing or adding a 90 degree. And that's what's in all of the pyramids and all when they're doing the ascension into the next level. They're going like along and then they're going up 90 degrees. So this has, okay. So these are connected. I don't know how, but I know that they're connected somehow.
Perfect.
Okay.
Neural pathways, right? We know it's there. We might not get to know it, like dreams, right? We know things are happening. The best we've got is a drip feed and we'll just hang in there. All right. Perfect though. And Drunvalo is really coming out with some new information. So that's accurate. There's a reveal happening. Thank you for that. I love that. Brand new information. We're gonna go this. All right, we've had enough of that. Now, Sawa, this gets into some of the quilting, right? And some of the art and how the eight folds geometry, the 8 sides, it's kind of like with the hexagons where the 6 sides come together so beautifully. The 8 fold recreates, basically it's got an acute angle that lends itself parallel to an obtuse, right? So we're gonna draw it. I'll show you what I mean. But this is one of the phases of what we're gonna draw, and it's just so pretty. Every stage you can see this. What I mean is, here's an obtuse. This red is an obtuse octagon. It's an octagon, and then it creates the blue, which is an octagram of the stars inside of it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is it? I think is. I don't know if this one's a closed geometry. I'll have to just double check that. But yes, the quilting. Yes, exciting how the patterns fit together, and you see so much of this in Islamic art and Muslim tradition, and it's not as prevalent in the West, right? This is more associated with those cultures somehow. I don't know how, but it is more of a, you know, dominant pattern in those cultures. And that might be a goofy thing to say. I mean, quilting, we might have just as much, but I think typically it does feel like in the domain of the Eastern, you know, the Arabic cultures. Could be hallucinating that. And for a while, I was really big on the tesseract. That is the tesseract drawn on a transparency put over sparkle paper, and I would deconstruct clocks as if like a big screw you to time. So it was like these little bits that I have. And then I love this. This was my young self, like a while ago, with all the intentioning and, you know, just all of the, you know, faith, hang in there, the tesseract can get us there, and all of the intentioning that comes, you know, and then you focus on the geometry, and just the reminder of how much we can imprint and access with the geometry. And I love those intentions. So I always like to share this one. Yeah, so great, right? A nice fire sacral chakra. Yeah, we got it. All right, so I think we are getting into drawing. Anybody got any thoughts or perspectives about that? What we're drawing is really simple. It's the 2D version. We're not going large and bigger. You'll see it'll progress, lots of pretty steps. But I want to warn you, this is another shape where we erase almost all of it. So all of this hard work, you'll have the PDF, but we're going to draw pretty lightly from the beginning, and then we'll only end up with 2 cubes. All right, so let me,
while you're doing that, may I ask a question? So in other words, the star tetrahedron and all of those are all 3D. Is that correct?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The best we've got right now is the 2D version. I mean, we've got 3D versions, right? But as we're drawing, unless it's graphic design and we can rotate, we're stuck with 2D until we can, like, you know, pop it in our minds and just create it instantly, which is what we do on the other planets. But right here, it's a little dense. So now I'm getting far out. Okay, let me end this, and I'm going to go into the sequencing. It's just here. So what we are doing is we're going to use a width. Our radius on the compass is going to be 2.5 inches, right? And again, I just choose that because it's the biggest we can do and stay on the page. So it's random. You can do it at any size. But go ahead, measuring your compass to a 2.5 inch radius. And then this one, it's good to measure to the center of the page. So we're doing 5.5 inches in from the right and left margins, and then 7 pages in 7 inches in on the horizontal. So 5.5 on the vertical, 7 on the horizontal, and that should give us the center of the page. Let's see. Okay, are we all set? Well, yeah, okay, center of the page. And, you know, again, it's not super precise, doesn't have to be perfect, and does not have to be perfectly horizontal, right? So center of the page, drawing your first circle. You can go nice and light on all of the lines for a little while, right? I have both the circle and an approximate horizontal line in this image. So go ahead and do that. Circle first, and then really, it does not have to be precise, just a horizontal line going through that center point, and we want to label that A. I don't know if you can all see on your gallery screen, but Nancy is standing up and Sawa is, her face is where Nancy's face should be for me. That's really fun. I have not had that happen yet. Okay, thanks for that giggle. That was a collective giggle. So we've got circle A and we've got our horizontal line going through there. Again, it's not going to be super precise, doesn't have to be. It'll be close enough to count. Okay, got that? Great. So now we're going to work with these 2 points, right, where the circles, the line, the horizontal intersects with the circle, right? So we're going to make, we're going to put our compass at that intersection on the right, and you're going to make your second circle, and that's going to be circle B. Okay, and then going to do the same thing on the left side over here at this intersection. You're going to make your third circle, and that's going to be circle C. Nice and light. Go with a little frequency on here. Go. All right, we got all 3 circles and a horizontal line, looking good. Okay, we got one more here. Wait, don't want to rush anybody. Got one more. See, can you guys hear the frequency in the background or no? Is it because it's really quiet and soft? Okay, great. All right. We got A, B, and C. You know, once you get to the circles or the images that we've got, and we're making sure everybody's on board, you can always breathe. That is the beauty of this work, right? Is everybody's at a different pace, but we're all breathing. So always an opportunity to deepen. Okay, Nancy says hands in the air. We got it. All right, no pressure. We're going to get there together. All right. So now this is an alphabet soup. There's, I don't know, like at least 18 letters in here. So we've got A, B, and C on the horizontal. Top left intersection, you want that to be D. Top right intersection is E. Bottom right intersection is F, and your bottom left intersection is G. Groovy, nice and light. I'm trying to emotionally prepare us. All right, so EFG, now what are we doing? Okay, so now we're going to, you remember the trick of the hashtag, right? We're going to put compass on E and then also D. So when it's on E, you're coming up, you're making that hash mark above, and then you're flipping compass point over to D, right? And then you're going to get your X marks the spot above that. And then you're going to do the same thing on the bottom, right? Compass point will go on F and G, right? And you're creating those 2 hash marks down at the bottom. Same exact step above and below the horizontal line. I don't have the bottom one done here, so you just have to repeat the pattern on the bottom. You actually don't need it because right now you can see you have your intersection up here, and then you have the second point of A to give you a precise vertical line, right? But for some reason, I know I did it, so we're just going to do it. Right. So then those 2 marks, right? We had the intersections, X marks the spot above and below, and then you can label the top one I and the bottom point H. Then the ones that really matter. How's it going? Are we going too fast? Is it making sense? We got it? Okay, great. The points that really matter here are the vertical line and the center circle. So this gets J right here, and then down below you get K, right? Those 2 intersections above and below. What? Why are we scratching our heads? What's happening? Is it okay? Everything okay? All right.
It's fine. My head just itches.
Okay. legitimate. Absolutely legitimate.
So those two are the most important ones to kind of make a color. I see you have them there.
No, I only put them in red to highlight where the points are.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
no, you
I'm
don't
not
want
gonna
to
do that.
color. We're going to be erasing all of this. Just keep
Oh
saying.
boy.
So I know
Okay.
it's weird. So J up here and K down here. Yeah.
Right.
Groovy.
Got it.
Great. Now
Good.
we're doing things. So J and K have just given us our compass point for these new circles, right? We're going to create the top and bottom circles above and below the horizon. And this gives us our first fourfold geometry. Right? So you've got, you do have that center ring, but you've also got the four vertices, right? Vertices that are on each diagonal and could create a cube if you wanted to, but we're not there yet. And this, like, I think this is one of the places where you could stop and have a lovely design, right? If you took out the vertical and horizontal lines, just those 5 circles, it's really elegant and symmetrical in a way that is so pleasing to my system. So you can see, you can kind of play perceptually with, you can see the 5 circles, or you can focus your eyes on the 4 petals that are on each diagonal. And that makes a different shape, right? All sorts of ways we can play, because now we know that our brain and our eyes are doing it anyway. So we can just bring attention to it. Okay, we got these 5 circles, vertical and horizontal. Okay, cool. All right, great. Now what we are doing is we're gonna, more letters. We're gonna label these intersections up top petals as L on the top left, M on the intersection on the top right, N is the intersection on the bottom right, and then O down here on the bottom left. We're doing the tips of those petals nice and light, because we are going to erase all of these letters. Just want to be a part of things for a minute. And we're not done with the letters either, so it's like alphabet soup. Great. Once you know the end result, I can play sort of visually with seeing different things here. Okay, great. Now what are we doing? Yes. Okay, so we're going to use L. Here we're going to do the left diagonal, right? So on the axis L through the center A down to N, we're going to draw a nice diagonal line, nice and light, nice and light. And then on the other axis, M through A through O. So this gives you our 2 diagonal. Isn't that just so cool? The geometry is just showing us where to cut it, right? Always bisecting, symmetrical harmony. All right, so we've got these 2 axes, right? Okay. All right, so good. Okay. Oh, no, yeah, one more minute. You got it. This, I think, is, no, we're not quite at that pause point of that pretty one that's like gold leafing and red. That one has some triangles in it, so we haven't done that quite.
Okay, everything was perfect until now, and my 2 lines do not go through the middle
Okay,
dot.
let's see.
This is where I go crazy.
No. Let's see what you got. All right. I bet we're more on than you think. What are you? Oh, you're wanting it to go right through the center?
Yeah.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Okay.
It's the first one we're doing. You're rushing to be with a class. It's just like, that is way more normal than not, right? It's
Okay.
perfect. You get the concept that they want to go through the center, but it's really just fine. Let other things drive you crazy, not that. All right. So here we go. We're back on target. Everybody's got the 2. All right. You know, Nancy, it is such an opportunity. It is such a spiritual practice of surrender. God, it's so profound. I love it so much. And it's always there. So Next thing we're going to do is we're going to open our compass with your compass point at the center, like where the intersection is, you know, maybe Nancy just like at the actual center, but either way it would, yeah, do the center. That's a better measurement. And then open your compass to the width of extending out to point M, right? That intersection. And then we're going to make another circle right there. So it's a little bit more of an extended, rounded, larger circle. Nice, looking great. Okay, we got this. All right, good. Okay, I think we got some more alphabets here. Letters is the way to say that. So up here at the intersection of that circle we just made and the vertical line, that's going to be P. Same thing, horizontal line with the circle we just made is Q. Nice and light, it's all going away. Bottom vertical, R. Left horizontal with that circle, S. I believe that completes our alphabet.
What is that? What is that above the I? What is that letter?
That's the R.
Is it? Oh, I put the wrong thing.
And then the one on the left is S. And this has its own.
The one on the left, what left? Oh,
Up here,
Okay.
got it? Yep.
Yes.
This has like a,
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
okay, cool. This has like a ripple effect to me, right? Like my brain goes in some sort of outward expansive trajectory looking at this one. You know, I get to see them and have new experiences with them. Which is lovely.
Can I just say the symmetry is just so beautiful?
It is so pretty, isn't it? It's just, it's yummy, right? That it creates that beauty, that harmony, right? Is so appealing in that way. Yeah, nice moment of appreciation there, Carol. Yeah. So we've got these circles, right? From predominantly circles. Well, we've got a couple lines, but now we're going to get QB. So we're going to connect P up at the top here, over to Q, down to R, over to S, and then back up to P, right? So we're using the coordinates of that second outer circle with the vertical and horizontal lines, and just making our first cube. Let's see. We'll see which way we want to go. Okay. All right. We got the cube. Huh. Okay. Great. All right. So we got this. And now we're going to create the second cube. Nice. Now these don't go dark, but these two cubes are the things that will be remaining, just so you have that. But a good chunk of them will still be erased. So don't go too heavy too fast. Now we're going to draw that second. Oh, why is it? Hang on a second. I don't know why it went so big. Why did it go big? Hang on a second. Okay. So then now we're doing a horizontal cube, right? So L over to M, down to N, back over to O, and up to L. I had another quilter in one of my PCC classes. That's my Portland Community College. And she had so many great examples. And at that point, which I think it was only my last series, I'm like, oh, I've got to get examples of quilting. And it usually takes me 2 rounds, like finally write something down and get it in. But so I'm excited to see your inspiration, what you end up going with. Hexagons too, you know, lots and lots and lots. It's its own art form. It's so beautiful. So we've got a nice blend of circles and lines and squares, right? It's harmonic that way also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 5, 6. All right. You ready for some erasing? Emotionally prepare you. There you go. Everything but that. Right? So it looks really different here than it does on your paper, because I just transposed and I was like, I don't know what I did. I either erased it or I just wanted it nice and clean. So you want to get this shape, which means you're erasing everything but the 2 cubes. So everything except for all these 8 lines. Which is cool, but also weird. Oh. While you're doing that, I'm going to grab my cat. All right. There we go. No, don't come on. Come on. All right. Well, we can't do it here. Can we? All right. Yay. It's inside. The tesseract is happening. And, you know, we've got this, it's super 2D, right? We've got these 2 squares and it's really a stretch, but see if you can bring any dimensionality to it. And see if you could imagine 2 cubes on their diagonal, right? Like, I mean, I can kind of imagine 2 cubes. It's sort of beyond, that's sort of the limit of what I can do. But just like with Metatrons and any of the, all of the geometries, right? They're 3-dimensional and they're also multi-dimensional. And this helps us get past, you know, our limitations. We're just inviting the inquiry that other dimensions exist. Good. Always an invitation to drop in, right? With a breath. Because we've got this left brain, you know, here's the alphabet, here's the directions, here's this line and that line. And then if you can, like when you're drawing, you know, the next time you're drawing on your own, you know, working in that breath, working in that reminder to dive into the experience, right? We're also having an embodied experience here. And so just going back and forth, that's another type of alignment between the left and the right hemispheres, right? So we're doing all this stuff. We're way more altered than we think. And it's just geometry, you know? But it's new neural pathways.
How does that look so similar to that other pattern that we drew? I can't remember what the name of it was. The obtuse something.
Are you talking about the vector equilibrium or no?
Could be. Whatever one looks so similar to that. I never can remember the names.
Maybe. Yes, the vector equilibrium. I think that might be the one you're referring to. I don't know, but it's not the flower. It's not Metatrons. I'm kind of ruling things out that I think it's.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and look at my names on the pictures and go. That
I
looks
think
like
I remember you writing down vector equilibrium. So I think
it could be,
I
okay.
think that might be what it is.
But, so, but all the rest of everything is 3D and this is not.
This is 4D.
Yeah. Hmm.
The cubes, the two cubes are kind of 3D, but we're gonna expand it out so that it's beyond that even. And we're only seeing the shadow of it, right? Let me show you. Let me go back here. When
Shadow.
we're drawing it. This this is what we're doing, right? So here's the shape up here. We're drawing this down here, which is the shadow of it, right? So it's kind of the hint of the tesseract, which is a little fascinating. We're not actually drawing the 8 cubes. We're drawing the reflection of it. Okay. So everybody got these two and a nice breath. Beautiful. All right. Yeah.
I'm not done erasing yet.
Okay, no problem.
I'm getting there though.
Okay. Yeah, but see, that's the beauty of this. I mean, if there wasn't the opportunity for everybody to be constantly in the process, whether it's drawing or breathing, the class wouldn't be, it doesn't really work. But to take it to the reminder, to take it to the meditation that it is, right? So the more, this is another reason why it's so important to me to go to everybody with everybody's pace. It's actually such a gift to slow down and make sure everybody's on the same page, because then when you're drawing it, you've anchored in breath. You've anchored breath work into the geometry. Some part of your subconscious is going to take a breath more so than perhaps some other time in your life. So the more I get to say, take a deep breath and feel, the more dimensionality the shape has, right? So maybe that's even part of how we get to other dimensions is through breath work. We know this, how irritating. Always comes down to the breath, right? Oh, forget to breathe. I set a timer, I can't even do it. Yeah. Every part is valuable. Terry, how's it going? Oh, I didn't hear you so well.
Because I had my pencil in my mouth.
Oh, okay. Oh, Nancy, are you holding it up or what are you doing? Are you? Yeah. Woo! Nice and big. Look at that. Very cool.
Taking the eraser shavings off of the table, but
Oh,
there it is.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Looking good.
It's so much fun. It's really cool.
So much fun. Yeah. Carol saw it's rocking. You just got
Surrender.
smiles. Awesome. Cool. All right. This was the point where, I mean, you've seen it with all of the geometries when we would do in person when we were sharing tables. Everybody like, this is one of my favorite parts. I miss it. I get it at the college. We still do it, but everybody's erasing furiously and just shaking the tables and everybody's tables, and it's just little like Zoom calls have opened up everything, right? But I definitely miss, the in-person and the energetics, and yet we get to do it. So, okay. How's it going, Terry? You ready? Awesome. Okay, so we've got these playing around with dimensionality now, nice and light because it's going to be erased. Also, we're going to label the intersections A through H in a clockwise way. And obviously, when you're drawing this yourself, you don't have to draw these. This is just helpful to have guidelines in the steps that we're drawing. And this is another geometry that fractalizes in. So we'll create one octagon and then another octagon. It'll just keep going. So All right, so A around through H, nice and light because we don't need those in the ends. Okay. Great. This real quick. That and we all set. Okay. Oops. Here we go. So now we are connecting. Right, it's getting prettier and prettier. So parallel. Okay, parallel, vertical, horizontal, and both diagonals, right? So any which way you want to do this, A down to D, H down to E. I think I put the letters. Here you go. So there's the couple, there's the letters if you get a little lost. Anything else? Usually, two of the axes are intuitive and the other two take a little bit of a more focus, right? So by now we have aligned our hemispheres a little bit more than on the daily regular basis, right? So you might be feeling a little scrambled as you're finding the lines. And it's just like with the information, the scramble is what we're going for, right? So if you're a little bit, if it's taking a little bit more work and you're sitting there saying, I should be able to find these lines. First of all, there's the should. Second of all, there's the, wow, you're really doing it right if it's a little tricky right now. This one took me a while. I actually had to sequence this geometry 3 different times because I could not get it right. And I would be skipping a step. That's why that one page where the geometry is empty, that's why it's a totally different color. It's like white on black and the other ones are tinted because I had to do it again differently that time. And then there's one other time where I had to do it because I skipped steps or I did them wrong. So I figured that was a good sign. However irritating. I just love the I love the process. And Sawa, I so appreciate you sharing your work with the pentagram and pentagon, you know, right off, because like there's just so much richness in that already, right? In that your tenacity, your vulnerability, sharing it, your openness to keep trying it, like it's just such a reflective tool, right? To see our own process, to see that level of surrender when it's not perfect, you know, all of it, it's so rich. It just satisfies all my like psycho spiritual metaphysical needs, you know. It's so good. Okay. All right. So we've got, yeah, and we'll send another pentagon just to help out. So but if it were me, I would not be satisfied until I got it right from the other drawing, you know. So bolster by the second one I give you, but then I'm sure we'll see it the other way. So okay, great. All right. So how are we doing? Everybody got these? Nope, not yet. Okay. All right. Sometimes they're kind of hidden and then you got to look and then they're there. And if you can note, like this is its own pretty thing, right? We could stop here. But what we've done with this is you've got this 8-pointed star, right? You've got the obtuse on the outside. Now we've got the acute on the inside, those pointy parts. But look, now we've created another obtuse. We've created a stop sign in the center, right? And that's going to give us the next round of 8 points. All right. How's it going? How's it going, Nancy? Are you feeling solid? You good? Can't tell.
I can't see the stop sign is all, but I'll get there.
Okay, did I highlight it in here? Okay. So what we're gonna do, this helps, right? It's in here. And if your center was off, it might be showing up here. This is where it'll,
It is. It
Yeah.
is. But I've
So it-
surrendered. It's okay. I'm good.
Victory. The victory
Yeah.
is yours. The surrender is
is.
the
It
real
is.
point. Nicely done.
Huge.
Nice. So you can see on this one, the goal would be this 8-sided here. You've got this symmetry inside, right? And
Got
we've
you.
created-
Okay.
Yep, we've created these little intersection points that have mirrored the octagon that we had out here. So what that's going to look like is I've darkened them in, but you've got 8 cross sections, right? And I darkened them because it helps me to find the connections. So it's these intersections, right? On the inside, I've just darkened them. You do not need to, but it helped me for accuracy, right? So here's those points. And then we're doing the same thing. We're bisecting, right? We're cutting the shape. Oh, we're not cutting it in half. We're just cutting it parallel lines with parallel lines on the diagonals, on the horizontal, and on the vertical. It's going to
So it's 4 lines that you're actually
well,
doing.
it's
right?
8. It's 8 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 8 lines.
1,
It's 4
2,
different
3,
angles,
4.
right? We've got the
Okay.
vertical. Got
Gotcha.
awesome. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
I see.
nice. Love it.
Finally saw it. Okay.
Right.
Oh, mine's going to be so messed up because it's off center, but that's okay. It'll be its own beauty.
Awesome. Did you say deity?
Beauty.
Oh, well, they're
Yeah.
both very wonderful. It's descriptors. I love that. It will be its own deity as well.
Oh, own deity. Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's how I
like
heard
that
you.
better.
You said beauty. Did
Oh,
you? Yeah,
I like that better.
I do
Yes.
too.
Okay.
I do too.
Okay. I got to do it.
All right. Now, right in here is where inaccuracy is going to show up. If the chances of you being aligned in an 8-fold here are very unlikely. And technically, like if you were doing graphic design and you lined this right up, you can see mine doesn't do it. You would be creating another octagon in here, right? And then you can this is another fractalizing geometry, right? It will keep extending in, it will keep expanding. It'll keep expanding in and expanding out infinitely, right? Fractalizing nature of reality. And all of it, I mean, you would have to be so precise, like where Nancy was like, from the origin, you would need to be super precise to get an alignment here that would give you the next round of stars, right? Yeah. But it is possible. Did I do it one more? Okay, are you ready? I don't want to rush into it. Are we ready for the next step? Okay. No, Carol, don't want to rush. Yeah. No, but I can hear mute. I can't hear. Nice deep breath, right? Oh, is that a thumbs up? All right, great. Thumbs up on breathing. There we go. Okay, so we've got this. So this right here, we could pause, right? All of these pause points. It's why I do it going in the fun way. We're just doing math and we're drawing, 2 rectangles. Totally not, it's not the arts way, right? This is the artful way. So here you've got this octagon, right? I wanted to jump to this, Nancy, when we were talking, but you've got this stop sign right in the center. Right? And what it is it's these lines that are cutting the cubes in half, right? There's these little diagonals, they're cutting them in half, right? See, so here's one cube, and then there's the line that goes through it. So with each line, it's cutting a square in half. So the reason I'm spending so much time on that is because we're going to erase those lines, right? And it will look like this, right? We're increasing the dimensionality. So you're erasing these lines, right? It's an octagon in the center and it connects the tips of the stars. So it's going to look like this. It takes a minute to see it, but we're getting close.
Okay, put the red lines back and we can see which one to erase.
Yep.
Okay.
There you go. Almost there. We're almost at the end. right? You guys are doing this. I'll read this last part. Don't worry if you're, I'm just adding some of the readings that I was reading before. They said that the geometry represents cosmic intelligence and cosmic knowledge of all that is. I might have read that one. Right. Yeah, this is so cute. Isn't it cool? All right, we got that. Oh, nice. We've got the octagon erased in there. So it's looking like this so far, or something close. Oh, close enough to count for the first one, setting the stage for the second one, which is even more glorious. Yes, there we go. All right, nice. So I've got this so far. You can see we've taken some of the lines, we've opened it up. Right, we're opening it up to the part that can fold and move, right? We're taking the constrictions off. All right, so we've got these, yeah, octagon set. All right, I think we're just erasing 2 more things. Terry, you all set? How's it going?
Mhm.
Okay, good. All right. So then what we're doing is we're cutting off the outer corners. These 8 triangle bits, right? They're just going to go away. And then that's the tesseract. Right? So the outer corners, right? You've got each little points, right? We're just same thing. We're taking off the edges and then we're giving it a softer octagonal geometry. And here is where you can play back and forth. And when everybody's set, I'll show you, coloring here is a really cool way to highlight some of the different rectangles, right? But you don't obviously do however it feels, right? But because of the practice that we've done throughout the 2 hours here, somehow your brain, your mind, your eyes will start to play with seeing the different cubes in here, right? So just spend a little time with this after we finish up. And I think even when they're off a little bit, might still be able to see, like with the practice that we did where the front of the cube goes to the back, goes to the front. Just staring at this geometry, your eyes will start to see different things. And it's true with all of them. But while you're finding that one, let me read this last one as you're staring into the beauty of your tesseract and breathing, right? So this geometry is the awakening of divine processes that flow throughout all of creation. As humans collectively remember what is beyond material and temporal, they are acquainted and anointed with the true essence, which sits in the pineal of the brain, right? We're moving back and forth between the hemispheres. We're getting all the way into the center, into the seat of the soul. This is the gland, which is the center of true intelligence and knowledge. By activating the pineal gland, humans are able to be connected to the original essence. So as you're looking at your geometry, you're imbuing it with this idea that the stillness and receptivity, that true knowledge, it's in the stillness of the shape, that true knowledge and wisdom can arise. So there's so much in here. A lot of it is, a leap of faith in a way. How's it going? We'll come out and see. We'll see everybody's. What we all have somewhere is, where's the pretty one that I love? This, right? We all have, oh, wait, I don't have the screen share up. Sorry. Where is my thing? So we all have some version of this, right? So this, right, somewhere, ours looks like this now, right? Some kind of echo of it. So how is it going? Let's see. Let's share. Everybody, let's see how it's going. How you feeling? How's it going? What do you think?
That's good.
All right. Wait, Terry, let's go with you first. Hang on a second. Carol, 1 second. All right. Spotlighting it. Yeah.
Yeah, I had pretty good with the precision.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how do we know if we want to color it? How do we know what color to put on what spot? Yours was like in the right, I don't know, the different colors. You knew where to put the right colors in there. How did you know how to do that?
I do not know how to do that. Those were not mine. Those are other people's arts. Yeah. So I can send you that one image. Drawing in and creating the 4 cubes is tricky. I don't know. I never know how to do that.
Okay.
All right. But I mean, if you, there's the next, there's your homework, right? So bust out that pad of paper and just give a color or 2 of the squares. You said you liked it. You said mine's good. Are you feeling good about it?
Good. Yeah, it turned out precise.
Yeah, nice. We love precision because life is not precise.
No.
No, I know. It's so satisfying. Like, oh, this will turn out this way every time. Life will not. So
Okay.
thank you. All right, Carol, you were up in there. Oh, Nancy, give us one. Okay, well, Nancy's in there.
Okay.
Hey. All right.
I like it. I like it, even though it's terrible.
I love it.
It's going to be fine. I'm going to do it again, and it's kind of interesting, but it's not precise. So it'll
But you
get
can
there.
still get you if you were to draw a line on the bottom. Can I give your can I have a finger one of your hands?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if you were to draw a line, okay, that right where your finger is, a vertical line right there. Yeah. Right. Just go up and down on the vertical. Yeah, that would complete one square. And then on the bottom, using your finger, okay, up, okay, yeah, there, and a horizontal line there. Yeah, that would actually give you the cubes. Yep.
Yeah, those were lines that I was supposed to erase. But yeah, okay, I'm just off. But yeah.
Yeah, give it a try putting them in there, and then you won't get the inside bit, but that'll give you at least the
Oh,
4
gotcha.
on the outside. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Cool.
Thanks.
And I love your surrender, right? It's like just as powerful to go, well, it's off, but I love it, you know?
I mean, really, what else are you going to do? It's okay.
What else are we going to do?
It's still fun. So
It's still fun.
you know,
yeah.
That's what counts.
Next
right?
level, right? It's so fun. And then the idea being that somehow our process with the geometry translates to something else in life where it's just not turning out, but it is what it is, and we could have fun. We could even have fun with it not being the way we want it to be. That's next level. I don't know if I'm there at all. But I'm inspired Nancy to take the next step. Awesome. Thank you. All right, Carol, you're jumping in. How'd it go? What do you think? You're on mute though.
Yeah, I love it. Actually, there was something about it that felt very natural. Very, I've always loved drawing lines and connecting things like this, and I think it came out fairly accurate, actually. And I'm just in awe.
So cool. It's beautiful.
You can't really see some of the
Oh,
lines.
yeah, we can. Yeah.
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 So I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah. I'm so glad. Isn't it fun how you just kind of like, you're going along in this line, and you race here and you race here, and then all of a sudden it's, oh, there it is.
Yeah. I was shocked. I couldn't imagine how it was going to come together, and now it's still.
Yeah. It's this emergence of,
Yeah.
imagery. Yeah. I can tell your system is happy with it. It's like there's this like an alignment, like I can see the satisfaction in your field. You could say it that way. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Sawa, how's it going? Okay, hang on. Let me put you on spotlight.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you're okay.
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 Um.
Oh, yes. Look at that. Sharp. What do you think? How's it going?
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I enjoyed it.
Wow, those do feel so
It's
different.
so fun.
Yeah.
Fun. Like you see different things, and like you said, your brains are kind of a little adjusted to seeing different shapes. Like pick up on it easily, maybe because we've been doing this for 2 hours. So I wonder what's gonna happen next time if I do it tomorrow, how I feel.
Right.
It's gonna be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 2 hours of full immersion is definitely, amplifies the experience. But this one, I feel like with Metatrons, you can look at it and you can see different shapes. Like you don't have to flip it up as much, but with this one, there's like an internal something that's happening, right? And then that channeled information would say it's actually a way of getting to our pineal, right? That fracturing of the lockdown of the matrix, right? The construct is that when we wiggle it and jiggle it and have a little discomfort, that's a sign that we're getting to new places and that there's some potential in there. So yeah, very, very cool.
Nice.
Any other last thoughts or observations? We can finish up, but just in your whole process, I don't mean to should, but let's emotionally prepare ourselves. Next week is our last class. And it always, by the 8th class, it's always like uncool. It's ending. So we will be doing, am I gonna take it down? I have my 64 star tetrahedron hanging on the ceiling, but we're gonna draw the 64s, not to move on from the joy of the Tesseract, but we'll have, we have 2 more shapes next week, and then we will be complete with our geometry training, right? Now we're ready for the metaphysical mystery school. We'll have little reflections, but anything else before we finish up? Other thoughts? I'll send the pentagons. Yeah. Terry, yeah?
So you have the sacred geometry and you have the crop circle class. What other classes do you teach?
I have the 2 crop circle classes happening right now, but that's just one subject of an infinite subject. I've not done any like single classes in a long time. I just sometimes, it's summer, people don't tend to take classes. You don't want to be on the computer. So somewhere around September, I just, I'll start up again. Did you do the Sri Yantra? My God, I can't even remember. Did we do that? Okay, that's one of them. And then the rest of them aren't necessarily drawing. One of them is a light language class, same type of thing, like activating our psychic multidimensional senses. I do some on whales and dolphins. And I used to do one on near-death experiences, like all sorts of cool access points, right? Same thing as the Tesseract, just ways to break in there and open us up to all that we are. So,
and that's on your, where do we find the dates and how to register to that? Does it come in our email, which is what I love? Just give it to me and let me sign up.
yeah.
But do we need to go to the website or where do we do?
Yeah. Are you on the newsletter? Have you signed up? Okay. Yeah. If you go to the website and sign up, and then you'll get on the list, and then it'll probably be like mid-August or September when I start putting things together. But I'm complimented and honored that you want to keep exploring together, and I appreciate that. And I really
the website for sure. Is that the flowing one?
No, it's here. I'll put it in the chat. It's Galactic Rose. Wait, Galactic.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. www, right? But it's Galactic Rose Geometry.
That's right.
Yep. And it's not up to date, so
it's okay. That's good.
Probably
I just
classes
have
in
it now in
May.
my mind. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you. And I will I'll send an update and get back into it in the fall. That's probably it. But those are the ones that I do. So
thank you.
Thank you. Carol, were you jumping in with something a second ago, or no? I thought I saw it. I need something.
I just went to your website and signed up for the newsletter because I didn't realize I wasn't signed up. So
awesome. Okay, yeah, that should take us around. So last class, it's kind of like preparing to erase everything. It's I always have to pivot. I did an 8-week crop circle course, and at the end, all of us were just like, no, not ready to stop. we just kept going. And certainly there's geometries, but it does, it's important to practice transition and termination, so all the grown-up things. So anything else before we finish up? Jesus. Thank you. It's so hot. I'm just sweating in my room. So thank you all so much. We will see us back here on Monday, and take care. Have a great week. Yeah.
You mentioned the Drumflow. Is his book out yet? His books, are they published yet? What's going on with that?
Nope, they're in process. It can take a long time to publish. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I hear you. But you said something. I wanted to be sure I hadn't missed something. Okay.
No, I don't know anything else. Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. See you soon. Have a
Okay.
great week.
Night.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.